Hi, welcome to Find Your Flow Yoga. I am Sarah, and today's video we are going to be covering 4 common poses as a pattern, as a flow, that you may find in a Vinyasa class. The 4 poses are plank, chattarunga, upward facing dog, and downward facing dog. Those are just 4 poses that kind of meld together as like a little dance that typically most Vinyasa classes go through as a way to get your body moving and also to reset for the next part of the flow. So I hope you enjoy. We're just going to break down alignment, so it's something you can think of when you're working on these poses, what it's supposed to look like, how it's supposed to feel. So enjoy. So we are going to get started in our high plank. That is our first pose. Coming onto our hands, our shoulders are above our wrists, kicking those feet back. And then checking in with alignment here. Starting with the feet, we're pressing through our heels, which is engaging our legs, causing full activation, which causes our core to strengthen a bit more. As we rise up, we want to make sure we have like a lift. We're not sinking in at all. We have a nice lift in our body. Pushing through our hands, our shoulders round a little bit as our heart extends forward. And then imagining energy coming out through the top of the head. So a high plank is really a full body activation. And you can stay here, or a variation is going on your knees, untucking the toes. So that's about half. Giving yourself a little bit of break with your body weight. And our next pose will be chattarunga. The main point of a chattarunga is keeping your elbows engaged and keeping the rest of your body supported, so it's just your arms doing the lowering. And you can always do this on your knees or in high plank. You want to keep your gaze kind of forward at an angle. Your heart forward, keeping those elbows locked in as you lower down. The next pose is upward facing dog. Keeping your hands underneath your shoulders. You lift up, pulling your heart forward. An upward facing dog, your thighs are lifted from the ground, so it's just your feet and your hands. Everything else is lifted. And it gives a nice stretch in the spine and the front of our bodies. You could do upward facing dog, or high cobra is just letting our legs stay on the ground. And this is more about the heart opening and back extension. Either of these are fine. And then the final pose is downward facing dog. So moving from cobra or upward facing dog, you find a way to tuck your toes back under to lift up your hips to the sky. And the big point of a downward facing dog is that you want your legs and your upper torso to meet in a V coming towards the ceiling. So starting with the feet, for me, they're normally about shoulder width apart. People have different preferences. Just doing what feels good. And it's not so much about getting your heels on the ground. That just comes in time as you get more flexibility in your hamstrings. But it's more about having that activation through the heels to have that grounded support as your pelvis tips up towards the sky, creating a sharp angle. And in this pose, our core is still engaged as well, even though it feels weird because we're inverted. And then we're pushing our chest, our heart towards our thighs. Shoulders are rolled back from our ears. Our neck is released of any tension. And we're gazing between our knees. And fingertips are engaged. And this is downward facing dog. It's meant to be a restorative pose. It's inverted, so it reverses the blood flow of our body, which gets things moving around. but the longer you hold it, the more of a shoulder work it becomes. And those are the 4 poses. So we can lower down to child's pose. And those are it's like a common pattern you find in yoga classes as a way to restart and step into and begin a new flow, or even out the other side of the body. Yeah, those are like the things that you're going to find most common in Vinyasa classes, most likely. They've been in my videos a lot as well. So I just wanted to break down these 4 poses to help focusing on alignment. Because in our poses we want to make sure that we're being mindful. That's the most important part outside of breathing, is that we're being mindful of our poses and our alignment, because that's what's going to help clear out our body and give us space for change and for ease in our life. So thank you for watching, and namaste.